wondering why I got out of bed at all. Morning rain clouds up my window, and I can't see it all. And even if I could, it'd all be great. With your picture on my wall, it reminds me that it's not so bad, it's not so bad. Drank too much last night, got bills to pay. My head just feels in pain. I missed the bus and I'll be hell today. I'm late for work again. Even if I'm there, they'd all imply that I might not last the day. But you'll call me and it's not so bad, it's not so bad. I want to thank you. Best day of my life. No, just to be with you. It's the best day of my life. Hi, how you doing? Justin here. Today we are checking out an all-time pop classic. It's Thank You by Dido, of course, famously sampled by Eminem and a few other artists as well. But really, really nice song for kind of beginner / early intermediate guitar players. We're playing it with all kind of open chords, except it's got a B minor, but I'm going to show you a little cheat for that as well. We need capo up here on the 4th fret. If we're going to play this along with the original recording, we're going to start off real simple, just take you through the chords with really easy strumming, and then we'll check out the strumming separately. It's not a particularly difficult one, but one that you probably need to work on a little bit. So the intro is starting really simple. We've just got an E minor chord to a C major 7th chord. Now, E minor chord, most of you probably know, we're just going to use 2nd and 3rd fingers, 2 frets above the capo on the 4th and 5th strings. Really simple. Now the next chord, C major 7, usually you'd start with a regular C grip and then just lift off your 1st finger, okay? You're not going to be playing the thicker string, so you probably mute the thicker string with the tip of your 3rd finger. So it'll be 3 frets above capo, 2 frets above capo, open, open, open. Okay, that's a C major 7, okay? So E minor, C major 7. Okay, all of the intro is just those 2 chords with the funky little strumming pattern that we can add. Now, if you struggle to make that change, which hopefully most of you won't, but the easier way to do it is just to add from the E minor chord, is just to add little finger 3 frets above the capo on the 5th string. It would sound exactly the same. Okay, E major. So doing that, it's a little harder to mute the thicker string. For me, there's something about actually making the chords move that sounds to me a little bit more like the original recording, and it feels musically a little nicer, but that's a cheat if you're struggling with that particular chord change. So it plays through that a bunch of times for the very intro. When the verse starts, the chord sequence is going E minor for 2 beats, C major 7 for 2, D for 2, then G, D with an F sharp bass, or just regular D if you can't add the F sharp bass, and then it's back around that sequence again. So E minor for 2 strums, C major 7 we just talked about, D, most of you should be familiar with that. Now when it comes to here, this G, D with an F sharp bass, E minor, it's a very, very common chord sequence. There's a few different approaches you can use for it. So G, the easiest approach is to use the 4-finger G, okay? So using the 3rd and 4th fingers on the thinnest 2 strings. That version of G, if you want more information on the different G chords that are available, there's plenty of that over on the website. Now, the advantage with that one is that the 3rd finger can stay down to go to a D chord, okay? So it makes that change from the G to the D pretty easy. Now, my personal preference if I'm playing with a D with an F sharp bass is to use my thumb to play that F sharp bass note. You don't have to have the F sharp bass note if you don't want. So most people probably wouldn't notice if you just play G, D, and back to E minor. It's just about creating this movement in the bass. If you're going to go G with the F sharp bass to the E minor. It's very common. Songs like Wonderwall, lots of songs have this kind of movement. And it does sound cool. It's worth exploring, but you don't have to do it if you're struggling with that particular chord grip. So the 4-finger G, D with the F sharp bass with the thumb over. Now the other options you got, if you can't get the thumb over, which most beginners will struggle with that, okay? So if you're finding that really difficult, don't feel like it's just you. Most beginners will struggle to get the thumb over to play the bass notes. The other option there is to re-finger it. So you put your first finger in the second fret. This is, when I say second fret, I mean 2 frets above the capo, right? The underneath of that finger will also mute the 5th string. You probably won't be able to help it doing that. Open 4th string. Second finger will go down the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and 3rd finger will stay on the note D, which was the 3rd fret on the 2nd string. Thinner string you're just going to mute. Again, it'll probably just happen for you accidentally. If you did happen to hit the thinner string, it's not going to sound terrible anyway, so don't be too worried about it. But that way, the G, D with an F sharp bass, to the E minor again. So and there's quite a few different options you've got to choose there with how you're going to play that particular little sequence. Remember, it's only 1 beat on each chord, so you don't want to do something that's too fancy, but it's worth practicing. Just, you know, going through a sequence like this, and just playing nice and simple, and then here you got the G, D with an F sharp bass to E minor. Okay, so probably that bit where you're just strumming each chord once is going to be the here. That's going to be the hardest part. So removing any sort of complicated strumming and just trying to work on getting those chords nice and clean and getting the chord changes will be really helpful. Because if you start trying to add the fancy chords in while you're still concerned with the changes and struggling to do that, it's probably not going to end well, you know. So always try and segregate the chords and the strumming there if you can, or if any particular part of it is difficult. So it plays through that sequence: E minor, C major 7's gone to D, got G with a D to E minor. The morning C major 7's that cloud up my D chord, and G to D with an F sharp bass to E minor. And even if C major 7, it'd be D all day, but the G with the D F sharp bass with the E minor, God, that's a mouthful, and it's a real mouthful, a real mouthful. Okay, that last little part, so it's 3 times through that sequence, then it's going from the E minor to the C, back to the E minor. I think on the record the bass is continuing to play the B note, so officially it would be E minor over B, E minor slash B. So to do that, you just wouldn't play the thicker string. It's not particularly difficult. If you're playing it by yourself, it wouldn't really matter if you played the thicker string or not, to be honest. So that last line, C, E minor, C, E minor with a B bass if you want to be fussy, back to C major 7. And then it's that whole sequence again, exactly the same for the second verse. And then we hit the chorus. Now the chorus is G to C, G to C, G to C, B minor, A minor. That's the sequence. Now, first of all, G to C. Again, there's a few different approaches to doing that. If you're going to use the 4-fingered G to a C chord, it's all change, okay? All of the fingers have got to come up and swap over to that new chord. For most beginners, again, that's a pretty complicated change, okay? One of the hardest ones. Couple of cheats. If you want, you can just move first and second finger down a string. Gives you a C add 9 chord is its technical name, but you can just think of it as a C. So, want to thank you, the best day of my life. It works great, you know. It's a real common kind of 90s rock thing, you know, Guns N' Roses, Poison, all of that era of kind of LA glam metal that really popularized the use of this C add 9 chord. But you can use it in a tune like this for sure. If you want to use a regular C, another option that you've got is to play G chord using fingers 2, 3, and 4. So first finger is free, and if you do that, then the transition of the C chord is actually pretty easy, because second and third fingers just move down one string and first finger goes down. So G to C that way, using that fingering, is a lot easier than doing the 4-finger G to the C chord. So there's a few different things. It kind of depends on the sound that you like and where, you know, what you find comfortable under your fingers as well. There's not one that's particularly right or wrong. It's just, you know, what feels good for you and what you like the sound of, okay? So the sequence: G wants to see you, forgive me the G chord day of my C, and G just to see with you is having a B minor. Oh my God, oh no, it's a B minor, it's got a bar chord on it. Now, B minor is fairly simple as far as bar chords go. The first finger's only got to mute the thicker string, play the 5th string and the thinner string, And the rest of the chord shape, nice way to learn it is to start with an A minor, regular A minor open chord. Swap the fingers around so you're using 2, 3 and 4 instead. Same shape as the A minor. Move it up 2 frets and then try and put your first finger down, okay? It's going to be a little bit of a sticky transition for some people, particularly coming from the C chord, so it's all change. You know, the bottom of your hand has to move position, which makes chord changes generally awkward, and then to an A minor, which hopefully most of you know. If you're struggling with that, again, you can go B minor, just slide the shape down, lift the bar off. That's a nice easy way to get around that transition if you're struggling from bar chords to open chords. There is a cheat for the B minor. It's not the best one ever, but it works nearly all the time. And that's instead of playing a full B minor bar chord, you can play a B minor 7 chord, which it definitely, harmonically, you can get away with it. It sounds fine still. Most of you have probably learned B7 as part of my beginner's course. There'll be nothing on the thicker string and then 2, 1, 2, open 2. So B minor 7, you just lift off first finger. So nothing on the thicker string, then 2nd fret, open, 2nd fret, open, 2nd fret. That would be a B minor 7 chord, which you can use in this circumstance. Sounds pretty cool, I think. Don't imagine many of you will find that difficult, but it's a little bit awkward if it's new. Okay, every time you learn a new chord, new fingering, it's going to feel a little bit strange and take you a little while to get it under your fingers. But it's a really nice alternative to bar chords if you're struggling with your bar chords. And that's it. That's pretty much the whole tune. So interesting things going on. After the first chorus, it plays the same chorus sequence again, but with no vocal, which is unusual. Then it plays the same sequence again, but it's a verse, okay, which is very, very unusual. Normally the verses have one sequence, the chorus has another sequence, so it's quite unusual to then have a third verse which uses the chord sequence of the chorus, and then it goes into a double chorus again. So from that point, when you hit the chorus, you're using that same chord sequence over and over again, which is really interesting. Interesting and unusual pop chord sequence. So really there are only 3 chord sequences that you need to remember. The intro part, which was just E minor to C major 7 over and over again. You got the first verse and second verse, which was this E minor, C major 7, D, and then the G, D with an F sharp bass, and then back around that 3 times. And then the E, same as the intro, the E minor to C, E minor to C. And then you've got the chorus, which is this G, C, G, C, G, C, B minor, A minor. And trying to think of things that simply, like little, these 8-bar sequences or whatever, if you can try and remember, the order of little patterns, you'll find it a lot easier to remember the tunes than trying to remember like the whole song as it goes. I can't believe I nearly forgot to teach you guys the strumming pattern. That would have been a disaster, and it's actually a really, really nice strumming pattern that you'll be able to use in lots of other songs as well. Definitely one worth checking out. With all strumming patterns, I recommend that you learn them without the chords first of all. Make sure that you've got the strumming pattern right. It's a lot easier than trying to do it when you're still worrying about chord changes as well. So just muting all of the strings with the fretting hand first of all. The strumming pattern is this. Okay, really slowly now I'm going to talk it out for you. So it's down, up, up, down, down, up, up, down, up, down, up, up, down, down, up, up, down, up. Can you see that my hand is moving continuously though? That's the really key thing here. Okay, so down, up, up, down, down, up, up, down, up, down, up, up, down, down, up, up, down, up. Okay, really important that the hand continues moving. I'm going to give you the 16th note count now as well. So 1 E and up, 2 E and 3 E and up, 4 E and 1 E and up, 2 E and 3 E and up, 4 E and 1 E and up, 2 E and 3 E and up, 4 E and 1 E and up, 2 E and 3 E and up, 4 E and up. If you're not used to doing this, a really good idea is to write the count down and write the down and ups where they go so that you can see where it is that you're going to hit the strings. Work on that really slowly, making sure that you keep that hand moving really consistently so you can get that down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Don't forget to spend some time where you really think about it, making it nice as well, like making it feel nice when you play it. Don't just keep it mechanical and all stiff. You want to really try and relax all of your arms, in fact your whole body, so you're really feeling relaxed when you're playing it. If it's stiff, it'll always sound a little clunky, so being able to relax your strumming arm is really, really important. When you feel like you've got the strumming pattern down, try the whole strumming pattern just on the one chord. So just grab your E minor, spend a little bit of time on that and then have a go at moving from the E minor to the C. When you're ready with that, have a go at moving it through more of the sequence. You will notice that it changes a little bit where we've got the G, D with an F sharp bass to E minor. There isn't really like a set strumming pattern that I felt was, you know, the dominant one to use. So it's up to you to kind of feel out how you want to be playing that one a little bit. The important thing is keeping the hand moving all the time as you're playing it. So. Actually, I'm going down, down, up, down, down, up. That's what I seem to be doing organically. I can't remember if that's what's on the record, but on the G, down, down, up. Then on the D with an F sharp bass, down, down, up again. 3 and a 4 and a. Chorus. I haven't got a specific strumming pattern I'm using for that, I'll be completely honest with you. I'm just trying to feel it, continuing my hand motion all of the time, and then I'm just playing most of the 16th notes and then playing around with some of the accents, okay? There's definitely loads of different options that you could be picking for that particular chorus. I start thinking about different strumming patterns, I can morph into them, but none of them feel like, yeah, that's the right strumming pattern. And from what I remember listening to the record, which was only a few minutes ago, but I'm getting pretty forgetful in my old age, it was just continuous strumming. So there will have been accents, but I can't remember what they were. I didn't write it down. So just have some fun with the chorus. It's continuous strumming. If you're working on my intermediate course with the 16th note strumming, you definitely want to think about your accents a bit, because as soon as it's continuous strumming, the accents are the key thing that you want to be aware of and how you're playing that. I hope you have a lot of fun playing along with this tune. It's a great one to be playing along with the original recording as well. You know, it's got that kind of electric drum vibe thing going on as well, which is really nice. I think her producer, Rolo, might be her brother, but I'm not 100% certain. And he also produces Faithless. I know there's a relationship there in production between Faithless and Dido. Can't remember exactly what it is. I'm sure some of you will let me know in the comments. But there's definitely that kind of electronic pop fusion with the acoustic thing going on, which is really nice. Quite of the era, I guess. But great song, great writer. Not really sure what she's doing these days. I did try looking her up, but the last tweets were quite some time ago. Maybe she's just doing the family thing or something now. I don't know. Again, let me know in the comments if you happen to know what Dido's up to these days. Hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I'll see you for plenty more very soon. Do subscribe to my YouTube channel if you dig what I do, because I really appreciate the support. Do go and check out the website. Just finished a massive update with loads of new fancy features and a load more fancy cool stuff coming up very soon. See you later. Bye-bye.